Hi, welcome to AdRoll Live. I'm Laura Finity. I'm the Multimedia Content Manager for AdRoll. Thank you for joining us. We should be streaming across Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube today. So please do get in touch with us throughout the live stream. Of course, you can ask questions and get them answered whilst we're here today. And even if you're watching this post live, we still love to hear from you. So you can get involved in the comments and get any questions you want to us here on the team at AdRoll and also to our guests that we bring onto our live streams. So today we've got Diego Abba, who's the Chief Executive Officer of italist Inc. So Italist is a global marketplace for Italian luxury multi-brand boutiques and brands and goods. And they're based in Los Angeles. So super excited to be chatting with him and to hear more about Italist today. We've got a short intro video that we'll be playing in just a moment. But before we get into welcoming our guest here this morning, I just wanted to also promote that we have a new playbook that's out with AdRoll. And this is direct-to-consumer brands partnerships. Partnership brands or brand partnerships are one of the best tactics for growing a business to expand reach. And you can easily see why. It's effective partnership increase brand awareness and customer acquisition in an extremely cost-effective way. So if you want to check out this playbook, I'm going to be adding a link to this in the chat so that you can download it. It shares some ideas on how to identify ideal partners for your brand, strategies for determining partnership goals, ways to identify what's in it for not just you, but your partner, and that really matters. And then also blueprint for brand partner marketing success. So I'll be sharing some of that information in the chat across all of the channels if you want to check that out. Okay, let's get into today's conversation with Diego. First, I just want to play a video, a bit of an introduction to Italist.
Savvy shoppers know that if you're looking for a large selection of luxury items at a great price, you fly to Italy. After all, you can choose from a wide and unique selection of products and pay significantly less than virtually anywhere else in the world, due to Italy's low prices. Imagine being able to take advantage of these extreme savings without leaving the comfort of your own home. Well, now you can. Introducing italist.com, the first platform to offer direct-to-consumer imports of luxury goods exclusively from Italy. We have partnered with over 200 of the best Italian luxury boutiques that carry over 200,000 authentic fashion items from 1,000 men's and women's luxury brands. It's an extensive selection you simply can't find anywhere else in one place. You can buy the same authentic luxury products you would find in cities like Milan, Rome, and Venice and pay up to 30% less than average online and offline market prices. Italist handles everything from start to finish. Here's how it works. Securely purchase your items online at italist.com. The boutique carrying the item prepares the product, the package is shipped by us and delivered to your door within 4 business days. And if you're not satisfied with your purchase, you can conveniently request a full refund on our website, minus product shipping costs and associated duties. Italist makes luxury shopping easy and effortless while saving you time and money. Say hello to smart shopping at italist.com.
There we go. So just a little bit of introduction there to Italist, and it's a great pleasure to introduce Diego here this morning. Thank you for joining us on AdRoll Live.
Thank you, Laura, to having me with you.
So a good place to start is always a little bit about yourself, and can you tell us how you kind of started getting working in fashion and tech and media?
Sure. So I'm the CEO of italist.com, that, as you've seen in our company video, is a global online platform that offers expertly curated luxury goods imported from Italy, and we're based in Los Angeles. I've worked and lived in Asia and Europe as well. I was also lucky to grow up spending time between Italy and California, allowing me to gain a vast understanding of very different cultures and style. Prior to this adventure, I was a CEO of Sleepy Giant, a video game publisher and technology provider based in Newport Beach and Chicago. In the video game space, I also led as VP of Finance Americas the development of a regional North Central and South America finance role for Activision Blizzard in what it was a newly created position. Prior to this role, I had advised clients extensively in media, technology, and private equity for 9 years, both in US and Europe at Bain & Company. Net, I've been in and out of the fashion industry for the past 20 years, starting from my time at Bain & Company. When I was not working in fashion, I was focused on technology and media, but I always enjoy working in the fashion industry particularly when I was on the board of a world-leading luxury knitwear company that had business relation with several of the most relevant luxury fashion houses. I believe my passion for fashion was instilled early by my family, who had a sartorial dedication to my look. I wore my first tailored jacket at 4. I was also born in Venice, Italy, and growing up in that city and region where there was a tradition for more formal parties at a young age solidified that passion. To me, the idea of luxury was more related to the exceptional quality of the design, materials, and details. In a sense, the education process of understanding materials and detail was a necessary step in learning how to dress. It was more about the overall quality and much less about the brand, if any brand. So basically, going in full circle, now I'm merging technology.
I was going to say it's kind of like the perfect combination. It might have taken a career and a whole journey to get there, but kind of it's come full circle. So now you have fashion, technology, and media all wrapped into one.
Absolutely.
So how did Italist get started? Where did the idea come from, and how did that all kind of begin?
Yeah, so we came up with the idea when we were observing the queues of tourists outside of the main luxury boutique in Italy, and the queue was for full price products. Usually you see these queues when there is like an on sale season that in Italy is very well regulated, so it's only in certain days. And the reason was the combination of the products that were hard to find outside Italy and the lower price at full retail versus other countries. And, that's what we call the Italian retail price in our storytelling that you heard throughout the video. So we decided to provide this buying experience as if on the streets of Italy to our customer, leveraging the internet that has been historically fairly, I call it orthogonal. So basically the two words, the luxury and technology, they have a very difficulty understanding each other. So, when I was in Silicon Valley, where we actually were part of the accelerator, there was a great difficulties in understanding and investing in luxury and fashion. And yet the fashion industry is a little bit far from fully embracing modern technology. So while we're bridging these two worlds, we are creating an innovative value proposition for the consumer in terms of product selection, price, and convenience of ordering. And, we can say that this is confirmed by our customer who regularly come back to buy on italist.com over and over.
And we'll definitely get into chatting a little bit about how you are having that customer retention and some of the tactics you're using on getting them to keep coming back to Italist to be purchasing and buying with you. What makes Italist different to other? We know there are other kind of marketplaces for fashion out there, but what makes Italist a bit different?
Yeah, so for me, I do believe we try to become the luxury commerce site. So you can find in season, authentic luxury fashion accessories, and what you can find is unique items that are created by the excellence of buyers that are from the multi-brand boutique in Italy that actually are considered the best buyer in the world, and they're the best one in spotting trends and spotting new designer and also selecting the items that are the cool items in the season from designers that are already famous. On top of that, we do offer, as we were talking about the Italian marketplace, we do offer a lower price. So this price is about 30 to 40% lower on average around the world. So it's a combination of great product selection, sometimes impossible to find outside Italy, and great price. And again, I just don't want to confuse people about the provenience of the goods from Italy. We sell more than 1,000 brands, and these brands, of course, are global brands. So, we have American brands, we have French brands, British brands, Japanese brands, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really more the selection from the Italian buyers that are used to a global audience that make our model unique.
Awesome. And this year, obviously, 2020 has been an exceptional year in all sorts of ways. And I'm sure we've been connecting in Adroll work with tons of different types of companies across all kinds of industries and markets. What about luxury retail? What's that market been like this year, and kind of how's that been shaping out?
Yeah, no, this has been a very unfortunate year, and I'm very sad about the human consequences and all the deaths that we had during this pandemic season. And of course, that has also impacted the luxury sector, where there is between a 30 to 45% forecast decrease for the year. So everybody is expecting a big short year this season. There's been also many restrictions for the physical stores that have to adapt to this situation, and of course that increase the focus on the digital store. So in a sense, I don't want to say it's positive, because you cannot be positive on this season, but for us has been, of course, better than somebody else. This is also outlined the necessity for the traditional retailers to move to the world of e-commerce, with what it was discussed as an omnichannel strategy that offers a seamless shopping experience online and offline. Otherwise, we store already in the past were facing closure, and we are seeing so many closure of physical retailers. The difficulty is that a lot of people believe that to have an omnichannel strategy would just to add e-commerce site, and that is not the case. The omnichannel strategy is very hard to achieve because it requires really rethinking the entire value proposition, the supply chain, the logistic, and utilizing big data and analytics to better understand the customer. And this is very rarely has been done in luxury. So there is this evolving scenario of the integration of physical and digital, where I can see that some new retail model will emerge. And of course, italist is a part of this new retail model. So that's what we are doing, and we're seeing what the future would have in place for us.
And you obviously, the company started as a fashion marketplace, and so perhaps in a way you've been somewhat better prepared for 2020 than other, companies that are working with luxury brands or even in fashion as a whole. So what in terms of impacting plans and projections as well. So how do you feel like you guys were kind of set up and ready to deal with this, or have you kind of been able to not maximize on the situation, but you know what I mean, to be able to take advantage of some of the challenges 2020 has brought?
So we were logistically, we were very well prepared, because we have two service companies, one in Amsterdam and one in Milan, and we basically manage the business remotely and using all the instruments. So for us, really, the closure of the office was not really a big deal. Of course, as we said before, COVID-19 has really deeply impacted the luxury sector. So I'm still cautious for the year. However, we did have positive results so far, being a pure online player. So specifically, we have greatly increased the speed of affiliation of new boutique partners. And what was more interesting in this part of the year as well was we started to go direct with brands. And we've seen some very high growth on some month versus some month of the previous year. So overall, as I said, for us was positive, even if I don't want to talk positive on this year. So obviously, this pandemic put a greater emphasis on online retailing, that because of a safest way to shop. And we on all this one, as I said at the beginning, we were able to work seamless, and we will continue to fulfilling our orders, and we support our retail partners in Italy throughout this crisis. So this one, coupled with the earlier promotion, there was a little more promotion because of the situation. We had a better level of sale versus last year, and traffic growth as well to the site.
And you mentioned a moment ago just utilizing data. So how do you use big data to understand your customers and then to also personalize some of that shopping experience for them?
Yeah, so as you know, personalization is the most pressing topic for most of the e-commerce businesses because it's a huge challenge to personalize and scale. And through this virtual and automated experience, it's much easier in store. So as an online retailer, we do have this challenge, but we have to fulfill this experience for the customer. So we use several marketing tools, and we try always to deliver more personalized experiences, message and recommendation on our website, mainly via email, on the social media. And we also use customer care for try to deliver more personalized messages.
And I'd love to, I know that you utilize and use email as well, of course, a lot to dig into that personalization. So how do you enhance customer experience with email specifically? And what are some of the tactics that you use?
Sure. So via email, we first welcome any new subscriber with a short series of emails covering the basic topic about our site. The model is kind of unique. We drop ship from Italy, so we want to explain the pricing advantage. A lot of customers are not familiar with the fact that for the same item, you pay different prices, depends on the region you buy the item. So we explain that one. We explain our process of selection of the partners. So Italy has this unique ecosystem that is actually the biggest in the world for a multi-brand retailer. And so there is a size, there is experience. And so we explain how we vet partners, what is our process. And then, we explain our customer reviews in the sense that we do have a lot of positive reviews. And so we want to emphasize the feedback that we receive from the customer. I do believe in a two-way conversation. So for me, I really spend time and read every single customer reviews that comes to the company. Then, every week we send about 4 email campaign that they cover topics like new arrivals, trend, season relevant categories. And, we try also to outline trending designer. And we try to segment this one by gender preference or the past purchase brand affinity. We also, as everybody does, we do abandoned cart reminders, and we are working on some additional flows to address likely customers that would churn. So on top of that, as I said, I do really believe in a two-way conversation. We request qualitative feedback from our customer in each region. So we address a region, then we address another region. And as I said, I read all of those and I try to implement suggestions that we think are relevant for us. Again, the customer care that is always usually neglected is a key area for me. So I oversight that directly. And, I have a lot of information and feedback, what, the customer asking for, what they don't understand, or, what we can do better to explain our site or our customer journey.
Yeah, that customer feedback is just so important. I mean, not only obviously can you kind of extrapolate from that, like, the kind of frequently asked questions and how you can provide just better customer service, but also, I mean, I know as a consumer, I always go straight to the reviews and I go straight to that information to help me make my purchasing decision. And do I trust this company? Is it like, are they what they say they are? Am I going to be happy with the product? So there's just so much power in all of that customer feedback. You mentioned the segmentation and, some of the audiences. So you ship to over 85 countries. So you have a huge, obviously, not just demographic, but, geographic kind of segmentation to be looking at. So how do you deal with some of that?
No, sure. So, US is our key market, but we do ship in more than 100 countries. The commonality is style is fairly global. So there are differences in the most liked brands by country. So you have some brands that are very popular in some specific countries, but in general, the segmentation is more on the type of style that the customer likes. So that style is kind of global. So if you love streetwear, I'm talking about, for example, Off-White, then that is kind of global and consistent versus people who is more traditional, that will like more ketone or Tom Ford, and there's less differences by country. So we do have a lot of analytics tools that where we can highlight similarities and differences among groups, among countries, among purchasing pattern, a more association of brands. But as I said, is what is interesting that the style is global, except for a few differences, but is really more among the style you want to wear.
Awesome. And you'd mentioned before as well, like content that you obviously have various, just for the email content, you're sharing blogs and trends and information like that might just be engaging and interesting to the customer. What about some of the channels and social media? How have you leveraged that? And what have been some of the most successful kind of strategies and campaigns you've used with social media?
Yeah, so as I was saying before, I'm a big believer in two-way conversation. So for us, the easiest channel and where we also have the highest engagement is Instagram, where we can get the feedback, we can go through conversation, and I found the best channel for the moment for us. Even though we get also a significant amount of traffic from Pinterest. What we try to do in Instagram also that we want to let our what we call ambassadors, but are really our customers that likes to wear and talk about us, engage with us, and we want to promote them in our site. So you're basically gonna see a collection of photos that is what we shoot in Milan for a new style for with our models, and what actually our customers are buying, and then the showcase. And I really like this dual conversation, and I really love that we have so many customers that they send us their post and say, okay, I just bought this, so I'm so happy, this is the way I look. And that's what the dialogue I want to really try to create, because what I want to achieve at the end is basically a place where that you have a better price, but it's not about the price. The price should be kind of, okay, I know it's better, but it's actually, what can I find? And what we're trying to bring is this creative style, these numbers of brands that in a lot of cases are not even represented in US or in other countries. So it's more like a discovery site, and the fact that we can engage in this dialogue and try to understand what women and men wants to wear is what actually eventually I would like to achieve.
It's also, I mean, historically, I think, you think fashion, you kind of go back to publications. Of course, you have Vogue and Harper's Bazaar and all these kind of big fashion editorial, publications that have historically, I guess, been the marketplace and the place for companies and brands to really display themselves. So is that still, the case? How have things changed? How do you also still work with publications to help promote brands and to promote the company and brands that you work with? Yeah, so
for me, the biggest challenge for the traditional media and traditional magazine is that it's always been a one-way conversation with the customers. It's a little bit more difficult to create what I like to create with our customer. Also, I believe that for a traditional magazine, it's a little bit easier to convey a brand versus a retailer. However, we've seen some good traction this year with some media sites that talk about us, or they include products from our site in the shopping articles. Of course, all these feature reference are we like them because they introduce the shoppers to our name, and we would like to be in their top of mind where we're thinking about buying a luxury product.
And say with this example just showing here from Harper's Bazaar, listed, there were a list of different fashion e-commerce sites, yourselves included, but of course also you're being put against other brands that people perhaps know, Net-a-Porter and things like that are in, in similar kind of realm. So as you say, great exposure just for people who perhaps haven't come across the brand as yet and heard from you. And then also, you create content yourself, so you have a few different kind of resources that you have for online. Can you tell us a little bit about the magazine and how you use blogs and all that kind of stuff?
Sure. So my two pillar in communication is basically try to engage in this two-way communication and try to have what I call honest storytelling. So basically outline the plus and the minus of our model, to try to explain, if we make a mistake, why we made a mistake, and move on. So what we try to do, we try to create some exclusive content, and we try to engage in conversation by interviewing designer directly to talk about their self and their brand. Then we'd like to collaborate with some of our most active and engaged ambassador. And again, the ambassador for us is somebody who buys from us. And trying to focus on content that can give also useful information. For example, how to wear a scarf, how you want to wear a combat boots, or a guide to the high-end zipper. So we try to create some content that can be useful and can spark some conversation.
And you can see they've just got an image of the from the website there, just from the magazine, and just showing some of the examples you were speaking about. What about seasonal campaigns? What do you anticipate for Q4? I mean, we're now into Q4. It's the kind of time is racing by. But what types of campaigns have you been running? And obviously, we're coming up to the holiday season. So how are you ramping up for that?
Yeah. So again, this is going to be a very challenging year, and I believe most of retailers are waiting for the season. As we know, for the luxury, the Q4 is the most important quarter. So of course we need to compete for customer and spending. So we also need to be sensitive to a crisis that is out there. Our strategy is also being very, very similar. So for us, it's going to be continuing our storytelling, continue to say, we're going to have great products. We're going to have great price. So products that are difficult to find, and the same products at better price than some other retailers. And we try to anticipate the season as much as we can, so people can have more alternative as soon as possible. And our storytelling will be basically very similar to last year.
And what about for the future of fashion retail, luxury retail? What do you think we're in store for, and what do you think the trends we're going to see in the future?
Well, a few years ago, I spoke in South Africa, and it came out an article that they said if a retailer doesn't adapt to omnichannel, will face closure. So it was a bit brutal, but it's actually very true. So what I believe is this pandemic accelerated the need for all the retailers to think about this omnichannel strategy. The problem is a lot of people, they think omnichannel, they think, okay, let me put an e-commerce and then put the same brand on the e-commerce, and that's my omnichannel. They don't think that they really need to rethink the all value proposition. They need to rethink the way they go to the consumer. They need to think how they integrate the physical and the digital. And this one also needs to be added with the ability to have from the digital world and a little bit also on the physical, a lot of more big data. It's much more difficult to go through what the consumer does in a shop, but it's much easier to see what they're doing online, and we have everything that they do online. So you need to use this data. And also one thing that is kind of in the old store of the past, so the two-way communication with the customer, that what a lot of people liked, you need to recreate that one online. And has been a lot of time only one way, creating this one-way addressing, through the traditional media, but even through Instagram, it was, me doing these things. So the dialogue was kind of chopped. So you need to create this one. Personally, I do believe, I don't think we've seen what is going to be in the future. So, as I said, you see new emerging model like ours, where we basically integrating stores, so you can have the offers you see in Milan in our side is all seamless, integrated. So that's an evolution. I don't believe that is really the model for the future. What I do believe is the model for the future might come more from online retailer, like somebody like us or somebody else, of course, that then would integrate some physical aspects versus vice versa. So for me, it's a bit easier to see a model where starting from digital, it would integrate the physical aspect versus a physical retailer trying to understand the digital. But I don't see we've seen it yet.
Well, it's certainly all super. I mean, we're set to see acceleration either way. This year has obviously accelerated the process for all kinds of brands across all industries in terms of their e-commerce and digital offerings. So, excited to see how this accelerates and what kind of comes out in the next, coming years. Thank you so much for chatting with us today. Really appreciate you taking the time. I know that with AdRoll, we're going to be collaborating on some of the kind of blog posts and sharing some of your knowledge and expertise in fashion and luxury e-commerce and retail. So make sure everybody's staying tuned and looking out for that, because we'll have some articles and things coming out. But thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you very much, Laura, for having me with you, and thank you again to let us expose a little bit our model.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
There we go. That's Diego Abba, who's the CEO of Italist. Of course, you can check them out online. If you just Google Italist, you'll find all types of content. That you're seeing at the moment is the magazine, the kind of online magazine and blog that they have, which is a great read. I managed to get lost in that for a while. So do check it out. That's it for today for AdRoll Live. We do have next up on the live stream on the 18th of November. That's the next one. We're going to be talking about cart abandonment specifically. I feel like I'm turning green. I think I must have a green screen going on in the background here on my camera at the moment. We're going to be talking about cart abandonment. So we'll be sharing more information on that, of course, across Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, all of the social channels where AdRoll is there. So check us out, adroll.com, for more resources. I'll post some of the extra links into the chat so that you can see and read more about Italist. But thanks again to Diego Abba for joining us today, and I'll see you on the 18th of November.